Alright fighters, how do you maximise your energy levels for training and basically get the most out of your body? Because that's what we're after here, performing at the best possible capabilities that we can, push hard, leave nothing on the table, and the way we do that is through carbs, and that's what I'm going to take you through in this video now. So what we need to realise is how your carbohydrates work, the different types of carbohydrates, the timings for carbohydrates, so when to eat them and at the right times, the carb requirements for different training loads, and some examples of some pre, during, post-training carbohydrates. This is exactly what we're looking at here. Now, we need to look at carbohydrates, so we're primarily focusing on carb loading. Now, the reason why is because we store carbohydrates in the muscle as glycogen, and we also store it in the liver, and that's like our preservation of energy. We use it in combat sports because it's such high intensity. You know, you're punching, you're grappling. Basically, you're going to be using carbohydrates because that's the quickest source of fuel that your body can use, the glucose. Okay, now we're going to need to use them before, during, and after training, as I explained. However, when you're fueling up with carbs, it's all dependent on your training intensity. So essentially, you want to be going for a range between 3 to 6 grams of carbs across the entire day, and that's going to give you that even spread of carbohydrates, keep your blood sugar levels stable, and keep your optimum fluid. So you want to look at your training loads. So light training days, so maybe just one session a day, 3 to 4 grams per kilogram of body weight. A moderate training day, maybe 2 sessions a day, 4 sessions a week, 4 to 6 grams per kilogram of body weight. Then a heavy training day, 2-3 sessions a day, maybe a couple of times a week, maybe 4 or 5 days a week of training. You want to go for 6 to 8 grams per kilogram of body weight, and then very high intensity training days where you may be doing some sparring. You've got 3 sessions, you've been training 5 or 6 days a week. You know, you're really pushing your body 8 to 10 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight in order to see the benefits. Now, what we want to look at is with your carbohydrates, your high glycemic index and your low glycemics. So basically the difference is high glycemic index, as you can see on the screen here, are carbohydrates which are going to spike your blood sugar levels really quick and digest to give you that rapid energy source. And then the lower glycemic index carbs are things which are going to give you a much slower digesting effect and will not spike your blood sugar levels and keep it more stable throughout the day. So in terms of like your high glycemic index carbs, like I say, you've got the quick ones. So you've got your basmati rice, your pasta, your cereal, your white bread, your sweets, your Gatorade, your Lucozade, things like that. Your low glycemic index carbs are usually higher in fibre and have got more nutrients inside them. So we're talking things like sourdough bread, porridge, sweet potato, quinoa. Now, it's important to know when to get these carbohydrates in. So the higher glycemic index carbs, which digest fast, 3 to 4 hours before training is usually good. And then the lower glycemic index carbs, 1 to 2 hours before training. Actually, I've said that the wrong way around. I've put it in the wrong way. So the higher glycemic index, you want 1 to 2 hours before training. The lower glycemic index, 3 to 4 hours, because obviously the higher glycemic index carbs are easy to digest, so you can have them closer. The lower glycemic index take longer, so you need to give them more time to be able to digest. Now, we want to look at maximising your energy levels during your training so you can actually stay at the higher intensities that you need to be at in order to perform well and reach your capabilities. So you want quick hits of sugar for maximum energy. You don't want healthy foods. You want things which are going to digest really easily and give you that quick sugar hit. So 36 grams of carbs per hour training is going to be optimal. It's not going to be difficult to digest on your stomach, and it's going to be making you feel nice, light and heavy when you're punching, when you're on the bag. So you want to be going things like energy gels. So science in sport energy gels are really ideal. Your carb powders, so like maltodextrin is really good, cyclic dextrin, and like your liquids again, like your Lucozade, your Gatorades, things like that are going to be optimal for you. Now, let's have a look at a fighter who's basically at 64 kilograms. That's how much he weighs. So he's got a light training day. That's composed of a run. So we basically benefit from the 3 to 4 grams, which is around 192 to 256 grams of carbs every single day. That's spread across the day. He's got a training day which involves 2 sessions, one 1 hour boxing session with light bag work and a strength session. So we'd be benefiting from around 256 to 384 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight a day. Now, the fighter also has a heavy training day during his week, which is composed of 8 rounds hard sparring followed by a strength session. So to fuel the intensity, he'd probably need 384 to 512 grams of carbs spread across the day. So you can kind of see from this how much carbs you would need based on your training load and intensity. Let's have a look at some other examples here. Now, these are some examples of carbohydrate-based meals that you can have before training to keep yourselves at high intensity levels. So, Blue Burst Lucozade, going to be ideal 30 minutes to an hour before your session. It's easily digestible carbs. It's going to give you around 40 grams of carbs. It's just going to be really easy to provide you with energy and not sit in your stomach. Again, you've got your bagels here, jam and banana on top of them are going to be ideal. 2 to 3 hours before training, again, they're going to give you around 60 to 85 grams of carbs, which is going to be really good for your energy levels. It's going to help you to sustain them high intensities which you need to be at. Another good one, banana porridge with honey. So you've got some porridge, banana and a bit of honey scrambled or squirted on top with some cinnamon. Low glycemic index carb again, longer to digest, so you're going to need to have this around 3 to 4 hours before you train, and you're going to get anywhere from 85, 100 grams of carbs, maybe even higher, 110 grams. It all depends on the brand and the amount that you're using. Another good one, Gatorade. This could be ideal 30 minutes to 45 minutes before your session. So this can be used during your train as well, and it's going to give you around 40 to 55 grams of carbs a year as well, depending on how much you drink. Another good one, risotto. Going to be ideal 3 to 4 hours before a session. It's going to give you 80 to 100 grams of carbs, and it's going to be really good for loading up your muscle glycogen and providing you with sustained energy. We've got some more examples here of carbohydrates you can use. You've got pesto pasta, again a good source of carbs, really slow lasting energy. It's going to be ideal 2.5 to 4 hours before you train. It's going to give you around 70 to 90 grams of carbs. Let's look at another example. You've got your oat flapjacks, again a really good source of quick digesting, rapid using energy. So that's going to be ideal 1 to 2 hours before your session. It's going to give you around 60 to 75 grams of carbs. So it's going to be really good for giving you energy and keeping you at that high intensity again, which you need. And then let's give you another example here. So maltodextrin carb powder. You're probably thinking, what on earth is that? So basically it's a type of easy digesting monosaccharide carbohydrate, and it's just in a powder form. Nothing fancy about it. Digests really easy and gives you quick energy. It's going to be ideal 30 minutes to an hour before your session, or even take during. It's going to give you around 46-7 grams of carbs as well, depending on whether you're using a scoop or 2. So you just mix it with water. You sit there before your training session or during. Now, you've also got your carbs during training. So liquid and gel-like consistency, going to give you that extra push, easy to digest, and like I say, you need that 30 to 60 grams per hour to keep them high intensity levels there. So you want to be going for things like maltodextrin powders again, with cyclic dextrin and scoops, going to be good during your session. Your Gatorade, your Lucozade Sport, one energy gel, and even carb tablets as well are going to be ideal for you. So guys, that is actually it. Whoops. I hope you like this information. If you want some more nutrition and diet tips for combat sports, don't forget to subscribe for more.